The sun had just come up behind the cafe, and Iggy shook him awake, shouting, "Get up, son, get up, look!" She pulled him to the window to look out. The entire field was covered with white. His mouth flew open. "What is it?" Iggy laughed. "It's snow, it is." Yes, he was in the 3rd grade, and this was the first time in his life he had ever seen real snow. Ruth came out behind them in her nightgown and looked out just as surprised. All 3 of them got dressed as fast as they could and were out in the yard 5 minutes later. It was only 2 inches deep, but they rolled in it and made snowballs. You could hear the doors opening all over town and the children shouting with excitement. By 7 o'clock that morning, Stump and Iggy had already built a short, fat snowman, and Ruth made them snow ice cream with milk and sugar. Iggy decided to walk Stump to school. And as they looked up the railroad tracks, there was nothing but white for as far as they could see. Stump was still so excited, he was jumping around and fell twice. Iggy decided to tell him a story to calm him down. "Did I ever tell you the time me and Smokey played poker with Pig Iron Sam?" "No, who's Pig Iron Sam?" "You mean to tell me you never heard of Pig Iron? The meanest poker player in Alabama." "No, man. Well, me and Smokey were sitting in this all-night poker game over in Gate City, and I started winning. I guess I won every pot for an hour or so. And Pig Iron was getting madder and madder. But what could I do? I couldn't quit, not while I was winning like that. That's not etiquette. And the more I won, the madder he got. And pretty soon he was in a rage and pulled his gun out and put it on the table and said that he was going to kill the next man that dealt him a bad hand." Sam was totally engrossed by this time. Whose turn was it to deal? Well, that's the irony of it. He forgot it was his turn, and lo and behold, he dealt his own self a pair of twos. So he just picked up the gun and shot himself to death. Right there at the table, a man of his word to the end. "Wow, did you see it?" "Sure, I did. It was a pair of twos, big as life." Sam was thinking it over when he spied something sticking out of the snow beside the track. He ran over and picked it up. "Look, Aunt Iggy, it's a can of Deer brand sauerkraut, and it hasn't even been opened." Then it hit him like a ton of bricks. He held the can up with awe and whispered, "Aunt Iggy, I bet this is one of the cans that railroad beer threw off the train. Do you think it is?" Iggy examined the can. "It could be, son. It very well could be. Put it back where you found it. So the folks that are supposed to find it will." Sam placed the can back down on the exact place he'd found it, like it was a scared thing. Wow! His first snow, and now a tin can that could have been from railroad beer. It was all too much. They continued walking, and after a few minutes, Stump said, "I guess that railroad beer is about the bravest man that ever lived." Aunt Iggy, he's brave all right." "Don't you think he's the bravest man we know of in our whole lives?" "Our whole lives?" Iggy thought. "Well, no. I wouldn't say the bravest person I know. I don't think I'd say that. One of the bravest, but not the bravest." Stump was taken aback. Who could be braver than railroad beer? Big George. "Oh, Big George. Yeah, what'd he ever do?" "Well, for one thing, I wouldn't be here if it hadn't been for him." "You mean here today?" "No, I mean here at all. I would have been eaten up by hogs." "Are you serious?" "Yes, sir. When I was about 2 or 3, I guess, me and Buddy and Junior were all hanging around the hog pens, and I climbed up on the fence and fell head first right into the hog trough." "You did?" "I did." "Well, those hogs all started running over towards me. You know a hog will eat anything. They were being known to eat lots of babies." "Really?" "Sure. Anyhow, I jumped out of the trough and started running. but I fell down, and they almost had me before I could get out. When Big George saw me and jumped in that pen, right in the middle of those hogs, and started knocking them out of the way. Now I'm talking about 300-pound hogs. He would grab them and sling them across the pen, one by one, like they were sacks of potatoes. He was able to keep them off me long enough for Buddy to crawl under the fence and pull me out. Really? Really? Did you ever notice those scars on Big George's arm? Yeah. Well, that's where those hogs beat him. But Big George never said a word to Papa because he knew Papa would kill Buddy for bringing me down there. I never knew that. I know you didn't. Wow, do you know any other brave people? What about Uncle Junior shooting that 12-point deer last week? That took a lot of courage. Well, no, there's courage and then there's courage. E.J. said, you don't have to be too brave to shoot some poor dumb animal with a 20-gauge shotgun. Who else do you know that's brave besides Big George? Well, let's see, she said, musing. Besides Big George, I'd have to say that your mother was one of the bravest people I know. Mama, yes, your mama. Oh, I don't believe that. Why? She's scared of everything, even a little bug. What she ever do? Something. She did something once. What? It doesn't matter what. You asked me and I told you your mother and Big George are the two bravest people I know. Really? I promise you so. Sam was amazed. Well, that's right. And there's something else I want you always to remember. There are magnificent beings on this earth. Sam, that's how walking around posing as humans, and I don't ever want you to forget that. You hear me? Sam looked at her sincerely and said, No, man, I won't. I then continued on down the tracks. A bright red cardinal swooped out of snow covered the tree and made a Christmas flight across the white horizon.